Kyle? How are these boys doing?
Rory's fine, trained today. Kyle's had a wee bit of a setback, so unfortunately for him, I don't think Saturday's going to be an option. He's had an injection and tried to manage his training schedule, but it's still getting a bit of pain, so it looks as if he'll have to revisit with another scan. So obviously with the cup weekend last weekend, we were hoping to try and maximise last week's work with the training with him and Matty and Rory. Matty will manage to get back training today. He's had an injection and hopefully he gets the benefit of that. Rory's back, but Kyle unfortunately is not going to be available for this weekend, but we haven't ruled him out being available for the rest of the campaign, so it is what it is. We've not had him for a while, so we need to deal with it.
Yeah, sure. How do you view this match then?
Important, obviously, which is understating things. I think when you get into the fixtures now, I think it's well documented. The league is as tight as it's ever been. You know, the fact that there's a few clubs just tucked in behind us at St Mirren 41 points, gets them top six. We're just a few points behind that, but their season looks totally different to everybody else's, you know, and I think everything in the bottom six got work to do, including myself. So we just see it as an opportunity. The fixtures we got with the fixtures we expected, 3 at home, 2 away, as it probably should have been. And it's important that we try and kick off the bottom 6 fixtures with hopefully a victory, but under no illusions that we're against a Ross County team who we haven't beaten this year. We're against a Ross County team who have got the exact same aspirations and motivation as ourselves. So, but it is important as a home team. It is important in the context of the season that we try and get off to a good start in the bottom 6 fixtures.
Is that a mental challenge for the players because you haven't beaten them this season?
I don't think so, because I think to each game in isolation, it's my job to look back and the staff's job to look back at games against Ross County this season. And you know, even the game up there, I thought we were good in the game despite difficult conditions and the surface. I thought we deserved something from it, and even here we get mugged a wee bit late on in the game where they scored 87th minute, and I thought in that game we huffed and puffed, but I don't think we've done enough to in the final third against them to win the game. But I think we've been a bit unlucky to lose a couple of games, but hopefully we can get a bit of luck this weekend, be good enough to try and overcome the challenge. I actually watched the game against St Mirren and I thought they were decent. Ross County, I thought it was harsh for them to come out when they're losing end of the result, but again, they're a team who's kind of went through this last couple of seasons. You know, they've been the team in the playoff spot, and they always find a way. They find a strength. So I think we're expecting it to be like cup tie football really for the last 5 games, and each game will have more importance on it than the next one. But if you can get the first win and then follow that up again with a positive result, then each game becomes a bit easier. The more you don't win, each game becomes more of a challenge.
How much of it could just come down to fine margins, just given how tight it is down there?
Well, I think it is fine margins now. I think we've been saying for a while where it's at. You know, I think obviously Hibs and Aberdeen, we thought they would be in the top 6 over the last couple of months, and there was just one really space available. So, and once that team get into the top 6, everybody else I think is probably just but bracing themselves for what's going to come. You know, I think it is so tight. I think we've beaten every team down there except Ross County, but we've been beaten by everybody else as well. So there's nothing between a lot of the teams. There really isn't. So we've got to make sure we just concentrate on performance, concentrate on more discipline, because I think that's a big part of it as well when the games get a bit fraught. But really just tap into what we've got here. We need to try and use everything we've got, particularly at home with the fans. What's happened now between now and the season starting and now is kind of irrelevant. We've got 5 games we need to just try and make the most of, and I believe we've got enough in the squad to get the job done.
Is that the sort of message you maybe given to your players over the last couple of weeks, is that, you know, this team are good enough to make sure they're staying in the division and safely, just to make sure they go out and do it?
Not really. I think just really kind of concentrating on my performance. I think that you know, you can believe that and think it, but nobody's going to give us it. We're going to have to fight and scrap. We're not going to just be given 3 points in the nature of the way the league is. Normally there's maybe one team really detached, but I think even these early games, Johnson will be still believing there's performances and results in it for them. So you know, it's very rare. I can't remember it, to be honest, from 12th to 7th that every team is still in a bit. I've got a concern, and we recognise the concern that's there, and it's up to us just to stay calm. I think the last game here a couple of weeks ago against Motherwell, I'll take you know, a bit of comfort in the fact that we dealt with the magnitude of the game. I thought we were well worthy of our win. A good solid performance, and it's those types of performances we're going to need. We don't need to be brilliant, but we need to be solid, we need to be responsible, we need to be productive in the final bit, and we really need to just kind of stay calm in a lot of these situations.
You want to ask anything different from your players, Derek, in the last 5 from what you have the rest of the season?
No, really. I just think we just try and maximise the opportunity. I think the next game is vitally important. I always think that first game is really important after the split, whether you're in top half or bottom half. You know, obviously we want to be in the top half, but we find ourselves where we are. We've never really caught up from the poor start we had. I think over the course of the last couple of rounds of games, we probably would have been the 6th place team in the league, but we always thought we'd be able to catch up and make up that initial start from the European and the sending offs. And we've not been good enough to do that, so we find ourselves in a position where we just need to go and deal with it. We've always met the responsibility. The players, I've got the benefit of having worked with the majority of these players for a long time now, so I know they care, I know they've got the temperament, I know they've got the ability, and I know they've got the wherewithal just to deal with what's coming, and hopefully we can deal with Saturday's game. If we deal with Saturday's game, I think the next one becomes not less challenging, but a bit easier in terms of confidence.
Can I just set the tone this weekend for maybe what's to come, and you know, if you go out and have the right attitude. And
the attitude's never been questioned. I think we need to be confident with what we're doing, you know, and I think we've had a good week's work. Obviously, we're waiting to see who's available to us, and we've had, I think, a good week's work in terms of the preparation for this game. But we've been there before. Our home record has normally served us well. Our home record has always helped us meet the targets. And having 3 at home in the last 5, hopefully that helps us. There's no doubt about it. But we're going to have to be good enough on Saturday to overcome a Ross County team who've got a wee bit of the sign on us this season. But we know when we look at the games, we're good enough to beat them.
There is a potential a few high pressure games coming up. How are you feeling about it personally? Are you relaxed and calm?
I'm fine with the game. I'm annoyed that we're in this situation, but I'd rather not be in the bottom 6. But the fact we are in the bottom 6, and we've got to be honest and say that there's not been a lot between us. We've not been good enough to get away from the teams that are in and around us, but we've still got that opportunity now to deal with it. So just try to be as professional and switched on as possible, and just deal with what's in front of us.
You touched a little bit about how maybe Ross County having the sign over you. Do you think
This season,
do you think there's something particularly you need to change this weekend?
The result, but to do that, we've had chances against Ross County. We've had good opportunities. I think getting the first goal against them will be really key. I mean, there's no secret we've all watched Ross County often enough this season. They play with a lot of energy, but they're big side. You know, they've got long throws coming in from both sides, good physicality about them. So you need to stand up to that side. But they've also got, I think, they commit bodies forward. They support quickly on transitions. We've got to be good enough in possession and have the belief that we can go and play round our shape and play where we think we can get a wee bit more joy. And looking back in both games, we've had good opportunities to score against them, but like a lot of games this season, we've not managed to take full advantage of that. Hopefully Saturday's different.
You say you've been used to not having Kyle, Derek, but how big a miss has he been? He's been out for nearly 4 months.
Aye, but I'm conscious my players will be reading this, you know what I mean? They're listening to what I'm saying, so I can't dwell too much on it. I can talk, as I have done, about the importance of Kyle Lafferty, but if he's no fit, he's no fit. I can't, Kyle Vassell. I would take Kyle Lafferty actually. But I think everybody knows how we feel about Kyle here, but there's no merit in me talking about somebody who's not available to us.